Fortnite fan, we're just gonna get right into it. Benno and Carve, what the heck? Benno comes out game number 10 with one of the greatest solo clutches we have ever seen. Guys, look at this leaderboard. Peterbot and Pollo just got a VR last game, right? We thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Peterbot, Pollo, they're taking over. It's crazy. In a single game, Benno solo clutches here for a second place with 11 eliminations. Kelly Link, we are at 68 eliminations on the day.
And that is a solo clutch off of Curve and Benno having 8 eliminations before Curve went down. So it wasn't like it was just Benno in that game.
Maybe
regardless, even with the eliminations, having Curve go down, Benno was not done yet. He is never done, Vivid. And to see him play that, for a second, I thought this was game 11, Peterbot solo once again, because we've seen that in North America. But Benno wants to show that this is not just the NA show. EU is here to represent. And look at these eliminations, Vivid.
Insane. I mean, it's like he can't miss right now. If this guy has a shotgun out and there is somebody anywhere near him on his screen able to go ahead and hit, he's hitting the shot every single time. And how chaotic some of these end games are. I mean, he is just switching layers when he needs to. He's using overdrive grenades to fly up, and even mid-air, opponents are moving, he's still hitting the shots. And everybody that was watching this must have believed that it was possible for him to win this 1v2, right? Like this, it looked like he was unstoppable. Everybody's like heart froze for a second watching that right there. And I gotta tell you, the rest of the lobby right now is in absolute trouble. We kind of saw it after game number 7. We were like, wow, whoa, these guys look absolutely different. Take a look at the individual eliminations over the course of the 10 games that we've witnessed for grand finals today. Benno is leading the pack with 37. What is possibly a little bit even more impressive is that his duo is right behind him with 31. This isn't like a solo show. I mean, obviously, yeah, the solo clutches came out, but they are both just performing on an incredible level right now, Kelly.
I for sure thought that production was wrong, that this was incorrect, and that they misplaced Curve's name. That's insane. These numbers represent everything, and I feel like I'm gonna have to add a 4th star to this airplane real soon, because this is what I want out of North American Central. And you know what? Maybe NA Central was getting a little bland, and you just gotta add a little bit of spice from EU, and that's what makes everything just taste so much better.
Whew. I am just shocked by what we just witnessed. We have 2 games left to go. Let's bring up those standings again. Wow. As we look at these standings as well, I mean, guys, even look from 1st to 5th, right? Only 75 points separating Curve and Benno from Javi and Aminish. I mean, I am just in awe. Again, this is why we call out, right? A single game of Fortnite can change everything, man. You just string together eliminations. The way Benno just did, even in 2nd place, you don't even need the Victory Royale. You can find yourself climbing the standings. Oh my gosh. Agers in Ritual as well. Look at this. Jumping up 2 whole placements right now, Kelly. Off of a 6th place with 7 elims. Now, Kelly, right now, more than ever, these eliminations are so critical. There's so many points locked behind these eliminations. That's what these players need to be targeting.
I mean, Agers and Ritual, like you said, they got 8th place with, they got 6th place with 7 eliminations. Cold and Rapid that game only went down in 8th. They only got 3 eliminations. And that is why Agers and Ritual are jumping up. Literally, you could be doing really well, making it to the end game, grabbing eliminations. But if you are not just pushing yourselves above just a little bit more than everyone else, that is literally going to be the difference of tens of thousands of dollars and being able to say that you are the best in North America Central.
As I've been wrapped up in the entertainment that we have been presented with this absolute domination, I blinked and I was like, wait a minute. We've played 10 games. There's only 2 games left. We are approaching that point now where it is possible that some of these other teams that are in the top 5 could potentially be thinking about, okay, listen, they're playing way too good right now. How do we stop them? I know we kind of talk about this a lot. We saw it on EU earlier, the attempt to potentially stop them early on. Does somebody have what it takes to land on Curve and Benno to stop what seems to be unstoppable?
Whoa, Vivid! He's speaking something into existence. Kelly, we saw this over in EU and it went a certain way. Do you think it's happening? Do you think it's happening in game 11?
No.
Probably not, but we can hope.
2 games left to go here before we say goodbye. I cannot believe what has transpired so far. With 2 games left to go, all of these dudes are thinking the same exact thing. How do we either get in the top 13 or fight for that #1 spot? Casters, it is time. Game 11 is ready. Take it away.
Monster, I don't know if Curve and Veno will be contested off drop, but I don't think it's going to be a smart play, because something you notice first off is when they were the best team in some of these lobbies, it usually starts in the early game. On day 1, it was the mid and end game where they lacked a little bit of preparation, but now that that's solved, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think anyone wants to get Sky and scrolled here in game number 11. So let's see if things are getting knocked down.
Come on, someone land on them.
2 games left, Monster. 2 exciting chances for anybody to rise up the leaderboards. And before this moment, we had a very, very close tournament, 6 points difference. But after Curve and Veno is just phenomenal solo play, they have almost a 50-point gap.
See, but that's the thing, you know, when you listen to Veno speak, he was actually saying Curve was due for the pop-off. Curve is gonna have his moment.
He ready for
Little
someone
did we
landing
know
on. Yep.
the wolf was in sheep's clothing. He has been playing so crazy. It's looking like young Veno. The Veno that we knew to be one of the most dangerous fighters when he was up and coming. We're just seeing him just outperform like crazy right now. And you love to see it too, because it's well deserved. And the competition overall is extremely close. But okay, Jacob, let's get to some of this action here. Paper and Resi are still fighting for a qualification spot for themselves. That was a great 2-piece of
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. That side of the map isn't necessarily my favorite, whether you're contested, uncontested, or simply just win the fight. Doesn't make it any easier at all. Blake and Preston still on this side of the map, going against the Tick and Mafia on the south side of the Frigid Fortress. Good damage onto Preston, though, giving a huge advantage on over to the other side, but Mafia has a huge chunk of HP missing as well, and this is where the lurks are starting to come in, but the longer you lurk, the longer you fight, those third parties will become a huge factor. Empen and Jack already making their way on over.
Yeah, Empen and Jack have been all over these fights here. They've had success, they've had some failures. So has Mafia. Looking Blake's perspective. Just kind of leaving this one out, trying to see. Misses the most important shot though. Any little touch there, he could have sneezed on the Tick and it would have been a big up. And Preston didn't even see him run past him either, so they just seem to be a little out of it here for game number 11. And Empen and Jack not too content with the extra shots they're hitting inside of there. I think they learned a lesson last time. They're off to disengage now.
Still got Scare and Osid at the actual Frigid Fortress just towards the north. They were the ones that, essentially the last ones standing after everything had settled, but just literally one room away. Preston and Blake, I have to imagine they know each other are here. Even the Tick as a solo, they only saw one elimination in the feed. Just about where is he at? And every single person in this scenario, Monster, is one shot away from going down or getting eliminated. And that's why you see the careful approach. But maybe Preston hears something on the other side of that wall. He's trying to tiptoe, take his time. There's a full window open, a clear shot. They double attack from both sides. That was actually a smart way to approach that from Preston and Blake.
I'm thinking Preston was looking through the cracks in the brick like, yep, I see an angle, bro. He's in here. Let's go for it. And it ends up working out. Squibbly unlocked, of course, by Peter Bottom Pollo. Let's see if they end up doing a big surge base or rotating out early. Try to get a fight for some surge. Maybe even some points, of course. All in all, though, oh, they're going back to that strat where they just push Chris and Drew here, who are kind of based down right now.
Yeah, and honestly, unless you think something unordinary is going to happen with Veno going down early and a lack of eliminations, one of the big ways to come back, especially for a team like Peter Bot and Pollo, is through eliminations here. You talked about it yourself. They've fought this one before against Chris and Drew. They've gotten eliminations, but they've also went down or down to low HP, making the surge not necessarily worth it. There goes another example. They're 100 damage gone just like that. Pollo having to slow things down, trying to heal up, but Peter Bot's relentless pressure gets the double edits towards the top, forcing Drew to fall down yet another layer. But we've seen this happen a few times throughout the weekend. Eventually, Peterbot and Pollo do disengage, but I'm not sure that's going to necessarily be the case. They trade shots again. Another 100 damage landing onto P.
Yeah, one thing Chris and Drew have done is play defense very, very well, right? Like every time we've watched this fight go down, they actually haven't fully eliminated this team. They have managed to defend themselves more than well enough, and Peterbot and Pollo say, you know what? You got it, bruh. Once again, and they just give it to them because they know too that going back and forth is not worth it. They wait until they're ahead and they say, all right, we're gonna take the surge positive and dip out.
Sometimes you got to take the little victories. And hopefully they accumulate into a massive victory at the end of the game. So jump on board Threats and Beer. To start the day off, they were inside of that top 13. They slowly fizzled out, but as it stands now, 14th place, 264 points. 13th place is only 6 points away. So if they were able to clean up those eliminations, they would move inside of the bubble as the game does progress. On one side of the map, you can kind of see what is on the line for some of these players, and they're really just trying to put it all out there, and they leave no regrets left on the table. Carillion seems to be by himself. Not sure where Jargon's at. Possibly eliminated by QK, but they break into the same box. QK almost goes down, but he's able to not only survive, but get the elimination onto Carillion and basically tell him what he really feels.
Yeah, I was trying to find Carillion on the standings. Definitely is one of those teams on that bubble area. They haven't had enough time to really focus in on their performances, but either way, getting eliminated now in game number 11 is going to be a massive setback for any team here and now. Jumping back to this right here, Peterbot. Boy, I don't think we've seen them actually fight Skittles' team at all. So Skittles somewhat caught out of position here and into the drop. Okay, this is exactly where Peterbot wants to. They know they're not going to have teams here, not this early. Just like that, Skittles rotates out of one problem and into another one.
Ah, that's just unfortunate. Literally, Peterbot and Pollo went from finding Chris and Drew. I don't know why they disengaged, but Chris and Drew went one way, Peterbot went the other, and basically attacked two different players on one team, sent them right back to the lobby. Another heartbreak moment here in game 11, basically leaving it all to the 12th and final game for some of these teams that have been eliminated early on. And as you can see, 74 players up, Monster. This one looking to move at a little bit of an accelerated fashion than some of the other games we've seen so far.
Okay, I did find Carillion and Jargle on the standings. They're actually in 13th, holding the line with 270 points there, Jacob. Now, the jump above them is Rhea and Cooper, who have a 30-point cushion, it seems like, for 12th. But it is super close from basically that line up and down.
Maybe watching all the teams below you, probably even some of the teams above, just hoping they go down early. Kind of ease the pain, but you can see the big difference here from Rapid and Cold and some of the other teams. Rapid literally buying out the mending machine, and then they kind of bring all the heals up towards Cold so he can kind of watch them, kind of leaving scraps essentially for anybody else that tries to rotate through and grab that mending machine. Just jump on board Void. Looks like he's getting chased down by a Beeb. Nowhere near his teammate just yet, but he's trying to use those shockwaves to close the distance.
Just look at Zipper's points too. Overall today, having quite the performance here. Obviously, after that last victory royale, in a 5th place before that, they've just propelled themselves right into a potential land qualification spot. Now, they still have a little bit of a ways to go, but if they can continue to play well, they will be up towards the top here in the next 2 rounds. Visuals and Braids slipping down the totem pole. They were holding that 3rd strong for so long. These last few rounds have just been a bit tough for them.
Yeah, they have a bit of a cushion, almost 100-point cushion going into these last 2 games, but almost leaves you scratching your head. They vastly changed up their strategy from day 1 going into day 2, where they would typically set up here for a long time, just getting little tags that adds up to a good amount of surge. By the time they rotated towards those moving zones, it made it a little more free to do what they want. But more and more teams rotating over, even to close the day out yesterday, lurking on them, getting those eliminations, forcing in the back of Visuals and Braid's minds different things to go out. But they're going to go ahead and get that drop early on, just at the edge of zone. And this could be a blessing here with the zone moving towards the north. They're already set up on one of these mountains, and every team south of that line has to rotate either through Visuals and Braids or to the left or the right.
And this is definitely the better spot to be in. And, you know, this is arguably the best spot to have a monster surge base, but they seem to have gone to keeping more of a low profile. So they're trying to mix things up. And if I had to guess, teams just changed their rotation strategy, right? Coming into day 2. Maybe that's why Vision Breed is having a bit of a harder time, whereas yesterday, while everyone was caught off guard, strat worked a little better. But for Peter Bottom Pollo, they're fighting for points here. It's the Squibbly Shores. Obviously, their domain. Doing a good job so far.
And Peter Bot just using a couple of resources that are around. Taking that spicy fish, getting a little bit of a movement boost that can help him try to break into some of these boxes. They pressure out Muzz from 2 different angles. One shot can connect from Pollo. Peterbot still holding it down, leading some of those Thunderbird shots through, getting him down to just HP. And with the zone here, yeah, it might only be a 1 tick, but it's going to increase the worry for Must. Liquid tries to go up and make a play onto Peterbot, but he gets cut short as well. He has no choice but to try and disengage. He basically gave up any hope of him and his duo either taking down Peterbot or surviving, so he moves towards the north, saying, hey, if you're going to eliminate him, I probably already have the goal. Let's just start working on plan B.
Yeah, look at that. And little did they know that he actually fully dipped on his teammates. So he could have stuck around and finished it, but not worth the risk. Really showing you, too, that, like, Peterbot and Pollo are really trying to play for an end game right now. They know that, hey, the points will come. We just got to keep winning.
Muzz and Sphinx, you know, Muzz, at least, you know, in the last major 3 in trios qualifying in the last game of the day to make it to globals. A much better position, 7th place, 430 points on the leaderboard. Just needs to be able to close it out strong in the last 2 games. Listen and Aloe in the mix as well, just trying to float above one of these teams. They're going to be in 23rd place, 214 points. I want to say roughly like 56 points away from getting inside of that bubble. That's definitely going to help him tenfold. Raven does go down. Aloe already trying to shockwave over. CDZ realizing the shockwaves are coming in. He's going to try to disengage himself. Can't be the hero in a situation that started so fast.
An unfortunate turn of events here for CDZ and Raven. They find themselves at the bottom of the standings here, but hey, all of this is experience gathered and effort learned. So Aegis there find G Monster in the feed. So Aegis continue to do what he needs to earn himself some points to continue to fight his way back into first. It's neck and neck up at the top. No teams can make a mistake now. If you're Acorn and Bolts, you're going to need to have those big game wins as well. Otherwise, the dream is out.
Which is surprising to start this day. We're talking about the phenomenal play from Bolt, solo impact, him and Acorn's ability to remain consistent in each and every one of these games. It's just something went wrong today. You know, compared to yesterday, they had a 32nd place and 19th. They did make up for it in a moment with a 3rd place with 5 eliminations, but now they're 98 points away from first place. 2 games left. Almost have a little bit of control over their destiny. They really got to hope for Curve, Venno, Aegis, Ritual, Cold, and Rapid. A whole slew of players to have a much worse performance than they've had so far, even on average. Aegis and Ritual rotating back on over towards Sandy Strip. Another team, uncontested drop. They really have conditioned a good portion of this lobby to stay away from this mending machine.
You know, and I'm just thinking, Javi and Diminish actually jumped up a placement point last game as well. Their average placement so far in the tournament is 8.6. The best of all the teams right now inside of the top 5. That is a pretty impressive stat, just kind of taking a surface glance at it right now. Everyone else, though, clearly, though, has way more elims. That's why they have the higher points overall. But still, Javi and Diminish playing exceptional right now. It's a great time to just start checking in with them. What's going well with them? Why can they keep making it work here? It seems like the Frigid Fortress is treating them very well.
Yeah, and honestly, an unlikely duo coming into this one. You know, at one point, it was Reet and Javi, and Minish with a whole other player, and Reet goes ahead and says, hey, Cooper, you want a duo? We're not playing as well as we would hope. So he goes a separate way. Javi and Minish, they form just in time to have a phenomenal performance in play-ins. They followed up with a good performance in heats, and already continuing that trend here with a top 5 position on the leaderboard, 75 points away, what could be both of those players' first FNCS championship. But again, when you look at the leaderboard on the right, it's just so close, not only for the actual first place on the leaderboard, but the top 13 overall, where you see 13 and 14th place have already been eliminated out of this lobby. And honestly, you don't want to look back at this moment, Monster, saying, hey, I had the chance and I wasted it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm actually looking at the standings just for like Javi and Aminish's, placement performances. They actually have 2 second places in there, and last game obviously pulled that third. So they have come close to a win multiple times now. We will be keeping an eye on them. But with Cold and Rapid here from the Dark Dominion now to this new draw spot so far, it seems to be playing off relatively well. They have 400 damage above, plenty of material, and they actually pull zone. Okay, this is really good for Cold and Rapid right here. They actually needed a little bit of luck, and it seems like it's playing off.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my head, the only thing they're missing is a little bit of high ground, but it's Cold and Rapid. When do they ever play on the high ground? Exactly, they get what they want. Just like Peterbot and Boyo, relentless pressure throughout the entirety of this game. They're almost 1,000 above the threshold, but you wouldn't think that to be true. They only have 1 elimination so far, so they're going for it. They're going for these high elim games. It's just they're not finding any success on the actual eliminations up until then, where they take down both Jack and Npen before they got to rotate to the next zone. So that's going to replenish a lot of their builds. They can pick and choose what resource they want to take with them before they finally make their way on out.
This is crazy because they're really playing to their strengths right now. Goes the fullberry miss, so they're just going to be shock waving their way all the way into the zone. Shoot, they might even end up on some high ground.
Oh,
they have the mess to play for.
God,
But Peterbot gets caught in the spider's trap right there. Got to be careful. On the other side, as we were watching that though, we missed what was happening over here. Flex, buddy, you're looking the wrong way. Veno knocks him upside the head, and then they get the follow up in the finish.
Distance, 8 corner bolts, quickly rotating in towards the zone. And they're using that as a quick second here to look back, seeing anybody that still has the journey to make, like Dolzir and Ishu outside of the zone. They're just pressuring, trying to make it harder for them to not only make it in, but even if they do, they're not going to make it in healthy. Another
load to one at. Get in the head. I wonder what's up now.
In that direction, you see Benno peeking through the cone, gathering vital information for their team. And you can see Benno and Curve are the only team who haven't been hit by any surge so far in each and every one of these games. It's just going to show that that early game presence by Curve and Benno is paying off tenfold.
They've just been the most aggressive. They've, again, been clearly the most successful in the early game. This game's a little bit slower for them in the early game, but their mid game is just taking off right now. They are in another prime situation to play for high ground here in the end game, and we know what they do well. They play it late. They let people get their first, little taste of height, and then they come in and put their influence to the test. Rapid and Cold, though, much different strategy for them. We've seen them play low ground, time in, time out, front side, dead side, you name it. They'll be there. Comes to rotate stuff. This is still a difficult terrain to play with, right? They have to go up and over this mountain, which you have Peterbot and Boyo now completely positioned up, and then you have Clicks and Higgs already basing on the opposite side.
Sometimes we've seen teams take it early. Clicks and Higgs were able to hold it early on in day number 1, but since then, honestly, it's been changing hands for each and every one of these zones here in the end game.
I wonder why.
They position themselves above. Peterbot and Boyo have the luxury to stagger themselves back. Look down, rain fire from above. Not necessarily getting eliminations here, but they are just hurting every single player they connect shots with as they rotate on over. Curve and Benno positioned down below. Hop gonna diminish towards the side. Clicks into Higgs. We've seen in previous games, they try to go ahead and claim high ground as their own. They don't necessarily have that luxury up until now. They pull zone in their favor, and they immediately build up saying, hey, if you want high ground, come take it from us.
That's crazy. And that's so different than anything else we've seen from Clicks and Higgs. They've been building single straight standing towers, but now Higgs is putting up this huge flex right now with a monstrous base. Benno and Curve here have no issues fighting their way to the new zone, though. That was almost a fresh elim. Oh, actually, it is an elim as things catch up there. Benno finds another one. And he was already in the lead, Jacob, with the most amount of elims, and he's continued to do so. But look at this, not looking good. Boyo's down. Peterbot comes through to clutch up. He finds one. Can he get the follow-up here? He's doing so much damage, but he can't quite get the finish, but it's okay. He's bought Boyo enough time to get saved here.
Yeah, and they have the splashes. They're gonna have NC start to use those along with the pizza, but the zone is moving in. 10 ticks of damage, instantly popping the big pot. Really trusting Peterbot to get those splashes out in time. They have to be careful though. Right above them, Clicks and Higgs, and even in front of zone, we got Curve and Benno. We got Muzz and Sphinx as well. Honestly, the storylines couldn't be any better here in this game because you got first place right now. Curve and Benno could be the first time a player has won in both EU and NA, two of the hardest regions, and they find a big elimination on the Peterbot, taking one of the hardest teams out of their path to the finish line.
Polio's down and out. The full elim comes through right there, Jacob, and he gets the finish as well. And just like that, they're up in the lead now. Clicks and Higgs on high ground, doing exactly what they need to do. They have solidified the positioning here.
Yeah.
He's doing a good job sacrificing a little bit of HP so that way they can go deep into the zone, reconnect on that high ground. It's going over towards Frigid Fortress. That gives them the luxury to look towards the backside of zone, seeing players late to shockwave in, but they think it's all smooth sailing. But Curve and Benno wait for these perfect moments. They've elevated themselves step by step, and they're waiting until they least suspect it. But Peterbot's still going on his rampage. Big down onto Dragon, trying to pick up that elimination. But Curve and Benno, they're matching him blow for blow.
8 elims now. Venno is really starting to heat up here, and they're not even interested in jumping down for Max. Notice that. They want to maintain this positioning, and they're still trying to time for high ground here to try to play for another win. Higgs, though, is the only one up top. They send Clicks down low. Clicks finds Peterbot, finishes him up, sweeps him under the rug, and now Venno and Curve. Here comes the setup. Off they go. Curve's got no max, so they have to concede to go lower and lower here. And this terrain's not helping. Look at all these old builds as things are moving back and forth, but Venno, Curve are still neck to neck with Clicks and Higgs right here.
Yeah, Curve and Venno, I feel like they know they don't even necessarily need the high ground. They don't even necessarily need the win. They just need to remain consistent. That slows them down a little bit. Big shot is going to land onto Venno. Pressure coming from up above. Thank gosh that Curve is there to alleviate some of the pressure, holding on to the build. But if you blink, you might have missed it. Higgs has went down. Clicks trying to go for the revive. Curve and Venno realize nobody else is up there to contest it. They use the fizz. They use the shockwave. They instantly take away that high ground. 6 teams left, Monster, and everybody at least has the duo by their side unless it's cold. He goes down. Rapid is now left by himself.
And he has the awareness too. The awareness to keep shooting back at them. Venno tries to keep the pressure, but the shockwaves put Clicks and Higgs up on high ground, and they know we don't have enough mats to hold this one down. Clicks and Higgs managed to have just enough HP though to go ahead and heal back in this game, but then you have Rapid. Look at this, just solo surviving right now as a player here in the mid ground right now. Trying to evaluate what he wants to do here, but he's got pressure coming in from potentially Venno and Curve here on the layer. Right behind he comes, and he actually finds Curve. It's gonna be Muzz who jumps in, and they get the full finish.
Yeah, but still, that's no worries to me. Venno's just taking this time to heal up. Quickly go and scurries outside of the zone. Still almost a full chug left, but Higgs is quickly on the chase. Gets a good amount of damage until the zone does the rest. Clicks and Higgs have finally woken up from their slumber. From day 1 to day 2, they finally found their form back. 5 eliminations here, but Rapid is still up, trying to close the gap. Pig down onto Sphinx, separates him from Muzz, but you see he has no builds. He probably feels in the back of his mind he has to get this elimination, but underneath, Braids takes him down, gets the elimination, and moves 1 step closer to first. Oh,
I was gonna say, talking about the slumber, Bolts and Acorn were down low. Now they're the sleeping giants starting to wake up here, putting their influence in the mix, but you have a lot more players to worry about. Braids and Visuals are here to mess around as well. They also need the refresh too, as they're out of material, so they're gonna be forced into this fight here, whether you like it or not. And then, of course, Clicks and Higgs have to come down and jump in this battle as well. Bolts uses the shockwave to go up. Someone gets eliminated in the sky. It's actually Clicks. He couldn't touch down in time. And Bolts and Acorn all of a sudden now find themselves in a winning position, and the shot goes through. And just like that, Bolts manages to do it again here.
Yeah, Bolts
okay.
and Acorn pop
Final
off
game.
in the second to last game of the day.
I
a second team to win 2
I waited
different games this weekend in a leaderboard monster in a world that is so stacked and close. This one is surely going to move them 1 step closer to contending for another FNCS championship. Zeke, 1 left game to go. Let's do it.
I I keep thinking, man, like I've got a handle on it. There's like, you know, Zeke, just follow the action. It's all cool. And no, man, we literally just talked about the top 5 right before this, right? And Acorn and Bolts were that 6th place team. They were the team on the outside, and they said, Zeke, I'm sorry, did you forget about us? We can now be in the top 5. Why did you forget about us? And now they are fighting for our love and affection. I cannot believe this. Game 11 with so many Titanic duos, all doing the same thing, thinking, bro, we can do it. This is our chance with 2 games left. We can fight for an axe. Acorn and Bolt say, you know what? We'd like to toss our name in the hat. Little name in the hat. There you go, Zeke. Go ahead. Shuffle it up. I don't know. Kelly, I'm losing it. I'm freaking out.
I mean, this really was the game for our teams in that 6th to 10th place spot. Everyone that was in our top 5 having some issues, either going down to a solo situation or going down early, you know, unless you're Venno. But this Acorn and Bolts that were just right outside of that edge, making sure that they're just playing the low ground. They're playing what they do best. They don't need to be disruptor. They don't need to be getting all these eliminations. They just need to make it to the end game right there. And Bolts once again going to a solo, improving that he is going to make sure that him and Acorn stay at the top of our leaderboard.
So funny. Game 11 there. I mean, we're just watching all the chaos kind of unfold on night. Oh my gosh, Peter Bot's trying to hold it. Flix and Higgs, they go up for it. Benno and Curve, they start to get active. All this stuff's happening. Elim. And then we take a look at where everybody else is at. Acorn and Bolts on the low ground. 100, full, healthy duo. And they finish the game just like that as a duo. Incredible stuff for them to kind of re-enter the conversation, not only in that game specifically, because they didn't even know they were alive in that game. All of a sudden, it's like, oh my gosh, they're chilling on the low ground. But now I can only imagine how close they are to keep themselves back in the competition for the win.
Oh my gosh, that little angle, that little tiny little corner was the difference maker. 574 points. Fortnite fan, we have 1 game left to go. We're gonna go to a break. Okay, I need a moment to breathe. I need a moment to breathe. When we come back, we start setting up because
if anyone,
this is a close run. Okay, go find some popcorn, find a drink, use the bathroom.
If
we'll be
no
right back.
one
Okay,
land
we'll be
on
right
him,
back. We'll be right back.
he win.